A new government report is shaking up the debate over medical treatments for transgender children. Released by the Department of Health and Human Services, it questions the safety and long-term effects of gender-affirming care for minors. For years, major medical groups called these treatments the gold standard. Safe, effective, and necessary. But now the government itself is saying the evidence is weak and the risks may be greater than previously acknowledged. This marks a dramatic shift in the official stance, igniting controversy across the country. The report, authored by a panel of doctors and scientists, claims the potential for permanent harm is often ignored. It challenges the idea of a scientific consensus and forces a closer look at the evidence behind these treatments. The timing is significant, coming after years of state-level debates and a change in presidential administration. The new HHS document is much stronger than its earlier version, and its conclusions are fueling a national firestorm. Now families, doctors, and policymakers are left with more questions than answers. The debate is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. This report gives new weight to those skeptical of rushing children into irreversible medical interventions. Whether you agree or not, the conversation has changed. Follow the science is no longer so simple. The government's new position demands a fresh look at what's truly best for kids. To understand the controversy, we need to know what gender-affirming care actually means. For young children, it often starts with social transition, changing names, pronouns, or clothing. Most people don't object to that, but the debate intensifies as medical interventions begin. Puberty blockers are the first major step, pausing natural development to give kids more time to explore their identity. Supporters call this reversible, but critics warn about unknown long-term effects on bone health, fertility, and brain development. Next come cross-sex hormones, testosterone for girls, estrogen for boys, causing permanent changes like deeper voices or breast growth. These hormones carry risks, including infertility and blood clots, and the HHS report questions their use in developing teens. The most extreme interventions are surgeries, double mastectomies for girls, removal of testicles, or creation of a neovagina for boys. While less common in minors, these procedures do happen, and the report is especially critical of performing them on children. The core question: are these steps truly helping, or are they causing irreversible harm? The HHS report urges caution, highlighting the lack of long-term data and the seriousness of these interventions. The debate isn't about names or pronouns, it's about powerful drugs and surgeries with lifelong consequences. As more children seek these treatments, the stakes have never been higher. The controversy centers on whether the benefits outweigh the risks for vulnerable young people. The new report demands we reconsider what care really means in this context. The HHS report doesn't hold back. It warns that gender-affirming medical procedures for minors carry significant long-term dangers. The panel of experts argues that the risks are often ignored, and the supporting evidence is weak. Many studies cited by advocates are small, lack proper controls, and don't track long-term outcomes. The report calls current practices a massive, uncontrolled experiment on vulnerable children. Physical harms are detailed: sterility, sexual dysfunction, bone, and cardiovascular risks, many irreversible. The report questions the ethics of subjecting minors to life-altering procedures they can't fully consent to. It also criticizes the affirmative-only model, which rushes to medicalize distress without exploring underlying mental health issues. Instead, the report calls for a cautious, therapy-first approach. The message: slow down, prioritize psychological care, and don't assume medical transition is always the answer. Top government health officials are treating the HHS report as an urgent warning. HHS Chief Robert F. Kennedy Jr. accused major medical groups of betraying their oath to do no harm. He called the promotion of gender-affirming care for minors malpractice, not medicine. Assistant Secretary for Health Brian Christine described the report as a wake-up call for doctors and parents. The administration's language is blunt, a sharp break from previous, more cautious statements. NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya called the report a turning point, promising that science, not ideology, will guide future research. These officials argue that ideology has driven the push for these treatments, not solid evidence. The Trump administration has reversed the previous administration's support for gender-affirming care. New policies now recognize only male and female sexes, setting the stage for this report. The government is using its authority to challenge the medical establishment and redefine its stance. This marks a major shift in federal policy and signals a new era in the debate. The message: the government is changing course and the medical community must respond. medical organizations aren't staying silent. They're pushing back hard against the HHS report. The Endocrine Society and others insist that gender-affirming treatments are appropriate and improve well-being. They argue these interventions are rare, carefully managed, and based on the best available evidence. Some groups, like the American Academy of Pediatrics, refuse to participate in the report's review, criticizing the process as biased. The American Psychological Association reviewed the report, but called its findings unclear and lacking transparency. These organizations continue to support affirming, evidence-based care for transgender youth. The divide is stark: government-appointed experts versus major professional groups, each claiming science is on their side. This leaves parents and the public caught between conflicting authorities. The clash reveals that the science is far from settled, and the debate is about more than just data. It's a battle over identity, childhood, and the role of medicine. Both sides accuse the other of ignoring evidence and putting children at risk. The controversy is now a high-stakes struggle for credibility and influence. The outcome will shape medical practice and policy for years to come. The debate is no longer just scientific, it's deeply personal and political. Politics is inseparable from this debate. The HHS report, released under a Republican administration, gives new ammunition to those seeking to restrict gender-affirming care for minors. Republicans focus on potential harm and protecting children from irreversible decisions. Democrats, citing major medical groups, argue that denying care is discriminatory and harmful. The report puts Democrats in the position of challenging their own government's findings. State legislatures are now battlegrounds, with Republican-led states passing bans and Democrat-led states offering sanctuary for these treatments. The result is a patchwork of laws, with the HHS report fueling more state-level action. The issue is set to be a major flashpoint in upcoming elections and legislative sessions. The political divide is only growing deeper as both sides dig in. The legal fight over transgender issues is heating up, with the Supreme Court considering cases that could reshape rights nationwide. One major battleground is school sports, where states have passed laws separating teams by biological sex. These laws are challenged as discriminatory, with Democrats arguing they violate Title IX protections. Supporters say the laws protect fairness for female athletes, citing physical differences between sexes. The Supreme Court must balance transgender rights with the goals of Title IX. The new HHS report, while focused on medical care, reinforces the idea of fundamental biological differences. Lawyers defending sports laws may cite the report and the administration's executive order recognizing only male and female sexes. The legal battles are complex, but the report adds weight to arguments for separating sports by biological sex. The outcome will have far-reaching consequences for schools, families, and transgender youth. The courts are now a key arena in this national debate. The HHS report is likely to influence legal arguments for years to come. Is this HHS report a turning point for American medicine? It just might be. For years, the momentum favored gender-affirming care, with clinics and treatments expanding rapidly. Dissenting voices were often dismissed as unscientific or bigoted. Now, for the first time, a major U.S. institution is urging a serious reevaluation. The report follows a trend in Europe, where countries like the UK and Sweden have restricted youth gender medicine after reviewing the evidence. The HHS report could empower doctors and therapists who have had private doubts but feared speaking up. It validates concerns about the affirmative-only model and provides cover for a more cautious approach. Change won't be immediate. Medical organizations are defending their positions and attacking the report's credibility. The stage is set for a prolonged struggle in journals, conferences, and the media. The outcome will shape how American medicine treats vulnerable children for years to come. The debate is now open, and honest discussion is finally possible. The report's impact will depend on whether the medical community is willing to reconsider its approach. The future of care for transgender youth hangs in the balance. This debate goes beyond one group or one treatment. It's about the core values of our society. It raises questions about science, medicine, childhood, and parental rights. For families, the stakes are deeply personal, and the guidance is often conflicting. The HHS report challenges the idea that immediate affirmation is always best, urging caution and humility. It also asks us to consider why so many young people are identifying as transgender and whether social factors play a role. Ultimately, the well-being of children is at stake, and everyone should want a healthcare system that prioritizes safety and evidence. The report forces a much-needed conversation about how we protect vulnerable kids. How we handle this issue will define our society's commitment to truth, compassion, and responsible care.